What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer. Thought I would check out this Mysterune archetype, whatever they're calling it. It's pretty dumb, man. Not gonna lie, it's pretty dumb. Um, so there is like the biggest problem with the deck, I think, just in general, is that you can't use Mystic Mine because you need to draw through your entire deck, but the field spell is really important. It's like it can give you a +3 in draw, meaning that you're never going to deck out before your opponent does, more than likely. You get to play cool cards like Pot of Extravagance. It's basically a Mystic Mine deck or an Exodia deck with a different win condition. I play a lot of weird cards, but they're not so weird in context. So Messenger of Peace is just like one piece of the puzzle when it comes to Mystic Mine, right? Because it pretty much negates monster effects and prevents you from attacking. So you can actually do something really, really similar, with Messenger of Peace and Skill Drain. And Skill Drain's at 3 right now, obviously, so that's pretty nice. So I'm starting to mill his deck. So obviously this is a very bad matchup for him specifically because, well, like he has all these cards like Quaking Mirror Force and Present Card, I guess, is one of those. I don't know if he's playing a mill deck. I guess he's just going pure Trickstar. He's trying to burn me out, which is fine. But I milled through a lot of his deck, so he's like halfway through now, and the win condition's a little more legitimate than you might think. Pot of Extravagance, it doesn't stink, but you kind of do want to be able to summon the monsters every once in a while. But Dark Bribe comes down. Pretty smart use for that, I suppose. But I did have one left up here, and it's this the Moonin. It gives you 1,000 attack, which is kind of cool. It also protects you from targeting destruction, so when Pegasus had Ignister, I guess, is kind of nice. The Trickstar Light Stage tried to shut down this card. That's kind of fine. He did try to destroy, target and destroy, I believe, and this is kind of like a negate for that. I'm excited to see what other Mysterune extra deck monsters are. Hopefully, it's not the only one, but here's the field spell. I'm going to go ahead and activate that. Go ahead and pop one of his back row. Ends up being the Quaking Mirror Force. Get the mill 4 cards, which is really cool. I will say the fun thing or the decent thing about this deck is that you do have to. It's not just dumb like mill. A lot of it can be. I do run much Macaron, and I'll tell you why in a second. But you have to like mathematically figure out what you're doing here, because like you can't, like if this says to mill 4 cards and they only have 3 left in the deck, well then you just straight up can't use it. So I use Marsh Macaron. It's obviously very stupid, but when you have Skill Drain and Messenger of Peace with Marsh Macaron, you pretty much win the duel. Because if they have anything below 1,500 attack or at 1,500 attack, I think they can still attack you, and more than likely your opponent's not going to have multiple copies of that. So Dark Bribe, obviously all these can be activated from the hand. I'm pretty good with my list. I'll probably show it this week. I don't know. I don't really care about this deck that much. It's so just like silly and just kind of dumb. So he is trying to burn me before I outlast him, but one day a piece comes down, so that's obviously the end of the duel because I think I end up so I couldn't mill 4 cards there. I thought I did. I actually chained this wrong. And I'll draw 3 cards. I do like to run Dimensional Fissure. It's actually just really good. You can run any Floodgate you want because all you're doing is milling cards. I guess it kind of works against Dimensional Fissure in a way, but that's alright. So yeah, like I couldn't use Trickstar Light Stage, but this is it. I just have to go to the end phase, and luckily, I had won the duel. These replays are probably going to be very long because like it's just kind of, there's no other win condition that's the entire version of the the deck. This guy's playing Suship. I'm obviously not going to be playing any meta because this deck is just not like that at all. I don't run all the Mysterune cards, and actually I don't run too many copies of all of them. Like, Reincarnation is huge, Present Card is huge in milling your deck. But the other ones, like say like negate monster effects or prevent it from attacking, which in my opinion is kind of dumb. Because Skill Drain just kind of fills in all the gaps there. So it is Metaverse, so it's kind of a waste of a card, but he still has to mill 4. I think I get hit with Ash like 20 times. It was really annoying. So mill him for 3 more. I can shuffle his back, draw 2 cards. Dark Bribe, Summon Limit, Trap Trick. I mean, that's pretty cool because I can get like a Torrential Tribute. We'll see what I end up grabbing. It's Reckless Greed. So there's a huge draw engine because like if you're going to waste all of your cards really quickly, like that's just the nature of this because you're just going to be activating these quick play spells all the time. So this ends up working out really good. So like, again, like I said, it's really like an Exodia deck. It's like Card D, it's Reckless Greed, it's Pot of Extravagance. Like all of those cards make a really big difference. He won his Nightmare Phoenix, but he like doesn't have anything, so which is kind of funny. I will pop the back row. It's Monstrous Torment. Who knows what that even is? Is to mill 4 more cards. Then I get to shuffle those 2 back, draw 2 cards. I don't have any way to draw next turn, obviously. But I do have another Reckless Greed, which is kind of the point of all of this. I run Call by the Grave specifically for Ash because it's just so bad against the deck. Getting 1,000 points is like kind of cool, I guess. Like whatever. I think no, the reason I didn't set Skill Drain was because I didn't have a zone open for it. Well, I guess I could have. You just obviously have to have a zone open for your quick play spells. But Pot of Duality can come down. I'll activate Dark Bride to negate that. He draws a card. So this card works. It kind of sucks to give your opponent an extra draw, but you know, at the same time, it's fine because at least they're going 1 card deeper into their deck. I think he tries to revive this. I don't really know what that card does too often, but I will pop the field spell, so they can't really do anything else at this point. I can draw 3 cards, so Reckless Greed, obviously, like you can see like why I play that card. Present card comes down. I can also chain probably Trickstar Reincarnation after, or maybe I should have done Chainlink 1 Reincarnation, Chainlink 2 Present card. That probably would have been better, but he did end up scooping there. This is a shark deck. I don't really know what I call it that. Sure, it's like a fish deck. I'm guessing he's playing that random card, like hamburger, I think it's called. No, he's not. Okay, interesting. He's playing the one for those like rank up cards that came out pretty recently. But Reincarnation obviously is going to give him a fresh hand. He ends up getting Ash Blossom, which really stinks, but Summon Limit's going to do a lot for me. I'll go ahead and activate his special summon 1 so I can protect myself there. He's going to have to go to the main phase 2. And then I get to banish 4 cards because he set a couple. And again, he's already at halfway through. He does go for the Ash there. His card just is so bad against this deck. It just kills it, man, so badly. A top deck of the Mysterune, like it's pretty much game over at that point because he mills 4 cards and then now I get to draw 3. So we'd have to have another copy. And once you're this far, like once you get to this point where it's like Skill Drain and Summon Limit and Messenger Piece, like you're just not going to win. So the guy ends up scooping. This is Sacred Beast. A really weird opening, kind of. I will have access to Torrential Tribute, so maybe that's pretty cool. I don't have any of the quick play spells, so maybe I shouldn't even have activated this card, but this is going to mill through like so much of his deck, which is funny because he plays like a 60 card deck. So the fact that I'm even maybe able to mill through this many cards is a really good thing. Trap Trick, just so I don't draw it, can be Reckless Greed. I don't have to use it, which is fine. I can set this card and go to the end phase again. I'd rather just wait until I like absolutely it's like last second, or maybe that's the wrong idea. I don't know, but I think it's fine. I can draw a couple cards. So 2 Reckless Greed. Now I'm going to use it because I'm drawing 4. So I'm going to get into some Mysterune cards, obviously. So drawing 4 is really sick, especially during your opponent's turn, and you get to play during your opponent's turn. That's just really awesome. Fallen Paradise comes down, which is fine. And then I can activate Skill Drain. So normally Skill Drain isn't too bad against Sacred Beast, you know, but like it hurts against Dark Beckoning Beast. He ends up scooping. This is against Evil Twin. I guess it's probably about as good as it gets. And that Infinite Impermanence, like all these kind of cards don't do anything against this deck. Ghost Ogre also nothing at all, except for the Field Spell. That's not true. The Field Spell would be destroyed. So he's going to discard his entire hand. He ends up going into 2 Effect Failure and Nibiru doing nothing at all. So this actually has a pretty decent matchup going into the first game against Evil Twin, because I run all of these kinds of hand traps, and you're not summoning monsters, like probably not. So this is just, especially Nibiru, you're only going to summon 1 time max. I'll pop this, you know, the phrase, and I'm really starting to go through. I'm going to draw a couple cards here. I'm going to have a couple of negates. I usually like to hold the reincarnation for till at least they have 4 cards. So in this case, I think it was okay. So I think that's pretty nice, actually. I mean, his deck is just like getting completely kind of, you know, eviscerated there. I'll save that out. I do want to go in order. This is Armed Dragon, and this was a match, and I messed up because I named the files the same thing. But this is actually pretty interesting because the guy had like all the right answers. So he does Ash the Pot of Extravagance, so he's only got 2 left in the deck, I guess. So it should be okay. And Summon Limit's going to help me out a lot. Reincarnation plus Present card is kind of hilarious. And I could have chained these actually together, and I probably should have. But this special summons an Armed Dragon from the deck, I'm pretty sure. But I do have Summon Limit, so he's already used 1 of those. He goes for a Pot of Extravagance of his own, so he's going to have a lot of good cards here. And he does have stuff like White Veil, man, and that's That is pretty devastating against the deck for sure. I didn't set these because I'd rather, like, if he had Lightning Storm, I just would have needed the duel. So I feel pretty good with Summon Limit here that the duel isn't going to, end. I did activate 1 Day of Peace, so this isn't doing anything at all. Messenger and Peace off the top is really, really cool. I can mill 4 more cards. He's only got 13 left in the deck at this point because he's searching out cards, like, constantly. I don't think he has a way to, like, pop face-up cards, and at least hopefully not. Okay, so he's going to add a card there. He's going to, discard there. He can only attack with this 1 monster, so hopefully I can get this card exactly. The one that lets me search, maybe the field spell, though at this point I kind of need more than that. I'm going to mill 5 more cards, and then I get to mill the last 4 here, which is really cool. So that's where that mathematics comes in. So it was like literally just exactly enough to end the duel. Just a couple more. This is against like Battery Man, like an actual Battery Man deck, so I thought that was kind of neat actually. Torrential Tribute, yeah, so this is kind of cool, I guess. And then he's just going to discard there, so only 23 there to go. Dark World and Morning Bureau doing nothing, which is really nice. And I can go ahead and pop the field with Torrential Tribute. Go get myself a Reckless Greed for the time being. Dark Bribe off the top. I need one of my Mysterune cards so I can kind of get my play started, at least get an Upstart Goblin. The Dark World and More is obviously just there as a bluff. Another Reckless Greed, so I will draw 4 at some point this turn. I'm going to go ahead and negate the Photon Sanctuary. He's going to have to pass because he doesn't have anything. And there we go. I can special summon one of these, and I can draw a card. Ends up being another Torrential Tribute, which is pretty neat, actually. And he's going to go ahead and use the Monarch Stormforth. I will go ahead and, blow up his board again. I think I maybe could have waited, but that's fine. That's fine. We'll get something off the top here, and it ends up being the Mysterune card, which I really, really need. And now I'm going to draw 4 cards, so that's obviously very good. And I can search a Mysterune card, mill the top, pop one of his back row. I'm just not a fan of doing that against yourself, but because that's literally what can happen. They can start popping your back row. Present card, Dark Bribe, and I can banish 3 more cards here. So I'm getting close. I got to really start thinking about what I'm banishing and the numbers that it ends up going into. So he's going to draw 4 cards. So I just need to pop one of his spells and traps. Although, yeah, see, I think I should have just waited to use this. And this is kind of before I learned that lesson, I think. But I'll draw 2 cards, no big deal. Reincarnation, I can't use it, unfortunately. Because he can't discard it and draw the same number of cards, doesn't have enough. Didn't have anything to get over the Mysterune there. Or he tried to use the Monarch Stormforth. I figured I'd negate. And I think I may not have even a target for Trap Tricks. But he doesn't have any cards left in the deck, and he's not going to be able to go for lethal here, which is super, super important. And last but not least, is another duel against Trickstar. So in Burn versus Mill, we'll see what happens. And I will search out the field spell. I end up banishing off the top a Gamma, which is kind of funny. But Skill Drain plus Marsh Macaron is pretty decent. He did have the Ash Blossom, of course, because everybody has it open their opening. But this effect still goes off, so I get to dig 2 deeper into my deck and kind of have this really nice wall. This card's kind of insane life stage. It just keeps giving you tokens. I will pop the back row. So he doesn't have give me a lot of burn damage, and I'm going to draw 2 cards, special summon 2. Unfortunately, one of the cards got off the top was the Marsh Macaron, but whatever. You can just keep going up and up and up, but it's okay because Skill Drain is on the board here. Pot of Extravagance is going to draw me 2 cards, which is obviously really, really good. It ends up being, the point of the Mysterune, which is always great. I did banish the Cyframe Gear Driver, which I think is bad. There goes the other Ash Blossom, so I only has 1 left in the deck, for goodness sake. And he can keep going up higher and higher all he wants. It's not really going to do anything. This is the Madonna, I guess it's called. But I think he did that just for the Pot of Avarice, which is kind of unfortunate because now I got to mill more cards. But I think I finally got rid of the last Ash Blossom. There's one there. Oh, and he shuffled him back, so there's 2 more Ashes in the deck. Cannot get over the Marsh Macaron attack, man. This stuff is so good. I'm going to search another card here, so the Spell and Trap negation. And then once, Messenger of Peace comes down, this is it. The staying power of this deck is now, completely established. Dimensional Fissure can also come down. Present card's pretty decent. I'll pop the back row. I'm thinking it may be a decent trap. It's not. But he, this goes away. The Harpy's Feather Duster, so it's like rip-a-roni. Another Ash Blossom, like, which is just so nuts, so nuts. A present card, so it's just like so frustrating. He's just gonna mill 1 card. I just wanted to do that so I could shuffle 3 back and draw 3. I figured that'd be kind of nice. And then I can wait, because now this is where like mathematics starting to come into play. So it's like, okay, if I use Reincarnation now, how many cards will we have left? How many, how can I mill the rest of them? How can I like play this out so I don't have to depend on an extra turn to end this duel? He's going to draw another card. He ends up surrendering, but yeah, this is when that becomes really, really, really important. But yeah, that's Mysterune. I don't know what you guys think about the deck. I know it's very strange, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I'll see you guys next time.